Pisces, it's Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Thursday, November 19th, and the moon moves into Pisces. Now, the lovely thing about when the moon moves into Pisces is that it is conjunct with Neptune and Pisces. And they are aligned at 4:26 p.m. and then pretty much throughout the day they're conjunct. So this is a lot of Neptunian energy, very insightful, very intuitive energy. This is energy that really dives deep within all of us. Even if you don't, okay, so if you have water-based energy, you are going to feel this energy just seep into you, pour into you. It's going to be impossible to deny the amount of water energy that's going on. You are going to feel a flood of emotion. When we have a moon in Pisces like this, okay, so let's talk about the moon in Pisces conjunct with Neptune and even aligned at one point at 4:26 p.m., which makes you, by the way, that 4:26 p.m., highly intuitive, great meditating energy, great unconscious energy. Go to sleep, take a nap, so that you can see if spirit has something to say to you personally, if you believe in that stuff. But the moon conjunct with Neptune is going to square off with the sun in Scorpio, square off with Neptune in Libra, square off with Saturn in Sagittarius, and it is going to quincunx the North Node in Virgo. So we have a lot of energy. Okay, so today is a day. Okay, Neptunian energy is 12th house energy. It is where all of our energy dumps into. All of the houses, every house that we have, all eventually dumps into this deeply emotional 12th house work. So we are all dealing with karmic outcomes, past lives, past experiences, karmic lessons we're dealing with, where we have no emotional limitations, where there are no boundaries to what we're feeling. And so we, as much as we want to control the direction of this water, we're not going to be able to. Think of this water as water that is going down a stream. There are times when it will be very calm, right? And we'll have this beautiful experience where we're floating down and looking. And then all of a sudden, the energy will go into a narrow part of the stream and be broken up by rocks, right? And then we have very tumultuous water. And then and then it could dip down into some fracking rapids, right? We could have big rocks and deep grooves in water. Water is very unpredictable energy, and it can lead us on an emotional roller coaster. For some of us that have not learned to control emotional energy. So today could be very uncontrollable, and I want to say that it probably will end up being. So, of course, I talked about all this squaring energy. Squares are energies that ask us to look at things at both a negative and a positive vibration level. So it's asking us to think diplomatically, weigh things out from both sides, and we're looking at our day-to-day thinking at this level. And then, but it's aligning us with this deep Scorpio water-based energy. So if we're not aligned with our core, if we're not aligned with ourselves, if there's some information that is coming in, secrets, if there is something that we don't like and that has pulled up emotions, these emotions are going to run deep, and they could be quite tumultuous at this point. And we could have very intense conversations about some of these misalignments that we're feeling on an energetic level from our core, as opposed to what we emotionally desire. And as you know, emotional desires are a lot stronger than desires that we feel logically, right, on an analytical level. So, I really deeply believe that everything that's happening at this moment has to do with the fact that there are some questions that we need to be asking ourselves on an intuitive level. Often we make decisions that are a collective way of thinking, that are accepted by our peers, accepted by our partners, acceptable by social standards, but often they do not align with what we deeply desire. This can cause a lot of internal turmoil, which I believe that we will have. So the Sun and Mercury and Saturn are going to conjunct and square off with the Moon. And this is going to cause some really deep internal wounds to come forward to us, to make us aware of them. And when this happens, this can enact a very Uranian moment. So we are autocorrectors by nature. We are creatures of homeostasis. Our internal bodies are creatures of homeostasis. So let's take a look at that. If we eat a lot of salt, right? If we're just craving salt and we eat a lot of salt, then what do we need to do? We need to drink a lot of water. So we start to crave water after we've had this salt intake. That was because our body wants to create physically homeostasis. It's much like that in our minds. Often if we do something, like let's say we have a really combative relationship with somebody, we often seek somebody that is peacekeeping. In the end, that peacekeeper that will be on our side. We need to go from one extreme to the other extreme often to help us meet in the middle. We need that perspective, that completely alternate perspective to somehow form an opinion in the middle. And I believe that's where we're at. We are going to absolutely have an emotional turmoil that will start to really dredge up some vulnerabilities, some fears, something we didn't see, something that was a secret. Secrets keep coming to me. There's something that is going to be revealed. I believe this revelation of this darkness, this deep perspective that we didn't anticipate, or that we wanted to intentionally hide from, right? Like we wanted to intentionally delude ourselves in that area. We get that reality check in this area. Remember, Neptune's not up to full speed. It's very cloudy, this energy is kind of makes you feel like you're all over the place. And so we're going to have a lot of Uranian moments. So let's talk about our Uranian moments. So Uranus is going to be conjunct Jupiter and Virgo. And you all know, like, you can look and see where your Jupiter and Virgo is for your sun, moon, and rising sign. I have it everywhere. It's going to square off with Pluto and Capricorn, and it's going to oppose Venus and Libra. Lots of tough conversations, lots of reality in relationships, lots of looking at how we seek pleasure, how we enjoy our lives, how we look at things. It's going to be about where we seek power in these relationships. Are we in alignment with what we authentically, deeply desire? I think what it's going to boil down to is, what are we hiding from ourselves? What are we hiding that we don't want to see? Now, there's another side to this energy that I must talk about. I felt it when I first saw this. I didn't even lay down any cards yet, and I couldn't help. It screamed to me. Many of you could have some sort of health problem that really jolts your optimism. So say you thought you were getting ahead of this health problem, and then you figure out that there's some news about this health problem that really discourages you. And it really or it pisses you off and makes you want to just beat the hell out of this issue, right? Okay, so what I really like, I know I have a very strong personality type, and when something challenges me, I want to kick its ass and take some names. So I'm so cool if it comes in on the down low. But if it's something that is a flat challenge to me, I will take on the challenge and I will not yield. I will win. And so some of you may have this reaction to this information, and it may scare you and make you think about the fact that you just need to stay strong internally. The news was jolting. It was a revelation. It revealed a weakness. It revealed possibly a treatment that's not going in the direction you wanted it to do, or maybe the medication isn't working quite the way that you thought it would, or maybe the coping method that you thought you got under control truly isn't something that you really, I don't think for some of you honestly really got under control. I think you're trying, but I think there's the vulnerability of knowing that you could slip in this. So I think the outcome is the awareness of just how vulnerable you are in this mental health problem, this physical health problem, or this routine that or ritual that you just can't seem to totally get a hold of yet. Today is a big day of aligning all that. Now, Chiron, don't forget how Chiron is working in this. Chiron is a very flushing energy. It wants to flush our fears away. It wants to flush our reality away. It wants us to absolutely acknowledge our wound, but not get lost in our wound. Know that it's a challenging energy, but that there is more to us than that. Often when we get challenged is where we find our strength, is where we are strength for others. If people see us go through a challenge, then they know they can make it through a challenge. And so that vulnerability is just such a motivator for so many people, especially if they see you. Support groups are so healthy this way. If you go to a support group and you see a lot of people suffering through what you suffer, then it's such a healthy thing for you guys to talk about it. Because if there's somebody there that has beat it, overcome it, but still challenged by it, it's such a motivating factor for some. And that is what Chiron is all about, is that I've got this wound, I've got this thing I can't quite get. Some of us have mental health problems, and we will to the day we die. There's no changing that. There's nothing we're going to do. We're always going to have this weakness in our mental well-being. I always think of the love of my life is Robin Williams. I have loved him all my life. And to know that a mental challenge ended his life, in the amount of knowledge that we have just seems so crazy to me, because this is a beautiful creature that had so much to give and gave so many people in such a state of vulnerability, that he is such an inspiration, but that he never fully acknowledged the capability that he was as a human being, the impact that he had on others' lives until he was gone, and he never got to see that. So I really want you to understand that if a challenge comes up, if news comes up, I feel it's going to be news. If a relationship, I feel like a relationship could be a source for you to go to bounce off this discouraging thing that's happening to you. I don't feel like Venus energy is terrible in this energy. You could be having wonderful conversations with partnerships in your life that may make you understand where you're vulnerable, and I'm feeling that they're a complete, beautiful source of security for you at this time of this turmoil as you move forward with this challenge that you have. Deep week, but transforming week. Thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.